Hey guys, it's Mary and welcome back to Study Journey. Welcome to the fourth video of the Hangman series. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, make sure to go check them out. They are in this playlist. And this is going to be a continuation of those three videos. In this episode, we're going to be writing the second helper function. And in the last video, we have written the first one. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. Alright, now we're going to be doing the second helper function. So in the last episode, we did the first one, and remember how I saved everything into Hangman files. I'm going to open up the instructions again, and as we can see, last time we did the first helper function, which is determining whether or not the word has been guessed. Now that we have done this, we're moving on to the second helper function, which is getting the user's guess. So I'm going to open up my file that I created. It was Hangman episodes. I'm just going to add on to what I did in the last episode. So here, as we can see, we defined the first helper function of is letter guessed. Now we're going to do the second helper function, and I did a hashtag in front of this because this is just something I wanted to comment to let myself know what the code underneath it is going to be about. Anything after the hashtag is not going to be labeled as a code, so it is just a comment. Now let's read getting the user's guess instructions. So it says, next, implement the function getGuessWord that takes in two parameters, a string, secret word, and a list of letters guessed. So I'm going to define right here. We are defining getGuessWord. And then the two parameters are secret word and letters guessed, colon, indent. And then it says that the function returns a string that is comprised of letters and underscores based on which letter in letters guessed are in a secret word. And this shouldn't be too different from is word guessed. So it says that we're going to use an underscore followed by a space to represent the unknown letters. You could use any other symbols, but the combination of underscore and space is visible and easily discerned. So it is really important for when we are writing code to make sure we write code that is easily readable to the users and ourselves as well. So as we can see, if we had a code like this, we wouldn't know if that is one underscore or three underscores. And it says that this is called usability, and it's very important in programming. And it says, hint, in designing this function, think about what information you want to return when done, whether you need a place to store that information as you loop over a data structure, and how you want to add information to your accumulated result. And it gives you an example. So if it gives you an example of the secret word being apple, and then when we print getGuessWord, it should print out this. Because when we get the letters E, I, K, P, R, and S, the only letters that are in apple are E and P. And then the other letters that are not guessed are going to be the underscores and then the space. So to write this, we are also going to be comparing every letter in the secret word to the letters that have already been guessed. And this is why it is similar to is word guessed. Remember, in the last function, we compared each letter of secret word to the letters guessed to see if they all match. And this is why we can use a lot of the code in is word guessed in our getGuessWord, because the first part is basically the same. We have to get the length of the secret word, and then after we have the length of it, we have to compare every letter in it. So for I in range of the length of secret word, colon, indent, if the letter guessed, so if is letter guessed, and then the two parameters were the secret word I, which remember means the letter of the secret word. So if the letter is guessed, we are going to have the result equal the previous result, so the result before this, plus the secret word I, because this is a new letter that is in the secret word. However, if the letter that you have guessed is not in the secret word, then we are going to update the result to let it be the previous result plus, and then this is where the underscore and space comes in. Because if the letter guessed was not in secret word, it's going to print the underscore and the space. However, if it is, we're going to add the secret word to the result. So in the beginning, we have to define the result. And because in the beginning there is no result, it is just going to be two quotations. And then after this, for anything to work, we have to return the result. Now to test this function, as they did here, they defined the secret word to let it be apple. And then so we can use any word, but to make it similar to theirs, to see if the test code is true, we're going to also let our secret word be apple. And then we're going to let our letters guessed be the string of letters. So if you could just copy this over. You can write it this way, or you can write it just as quotations EIKPRS. So this means the same thing, and we're just going to save it like this. So Command S, and then we're going to open our terminal. If we look at my Finder, we can see that in the folder CS Practice is my Hangman episodes. So to enter CS Practice, we had to say CD CS Practice to enter our folder. Once we are in this folder, to open up this file, we say Python 3, and then Hangman episodes.py. And then notice it has nothing because we have not printed anything. So we go back to our function, and then we print the get guess word. And then the results should be the same as it is over here. So open up our terminal, go up, okay. And then it says, there is an error on line 54. It says, is letter guess is not defined. As we can see, it is not defined. It is supposed to be is letters guessed. So we're going to update this, Command S, and then okay. And then I've printed out the result, and this is right. So remember, whenever we have any error, it's going to basically tell us here on what line it is wrong and where it is wrong. So it says that it is not defined. Do you mean letters guessed? The sentences aren't always right, but if we go to look at it, we can see that it was supposed to be as letters guessed. So we're going to update that, and then when we print it out, it is true. Now I have actually created a test function to help you guys out. Instead of having to print all of that, you can just run it through this test code, and then I will link it in the description box down below. But in the previous episode, we have tested the code for Hangman episode 3, and notice how the rest right now was in 3 quotations. And remember, this is also basically how you comment out a section. So this was the beginning, and then this was the end. So anything in between was not running. So now that we can run episode 4, or the test code for Hangman episode 4, I'm going to move down these 3 quotations down here so the bottom part doesn't run. And then Command S, and then my test Hangman is also in CS Practice, so I'm just going to say Python 3 test Hangman e.py, and then it says that it is a success for the test of get guess word. And so now we have written helper function number 2. We can see that in this episode, we have created the get guess word function, and then we have tested it through not only the test code, but also by ourselves. Remember, we can comment out or just delete the sections we don't need by using either a hashtag or just deleting it. And then now that we have these 2 helper functions, in the next episode, we will be writing the 3rd and final helper function. Alright guys, that is going to be it for today's video. In our next video, we are going to write the last helper function, and then after that, we're going to get on with the code. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.